Entry 1. I've decided to keep this journal until I'm saved. Today is Monday, 8/25/2014. I'm currently stationed on the USS Kentucky as a Navy seaman, or it was, as the ship has sunk. I don't know the reason why it went under. My officer gave me duty below deck. As I was doing a quick inventory of the supplies in one of the storage rooms, there's a loud crash of some sort, and the ship shook violently. I was trapped under a closet that fell over during the crash, and the door closed itself, the automatic lock activating. Being trapped under a closet, in all honesty, I was slightly panicking. Alarms are going off. This wasn't how I imagined my morning going. I knew being stationed on the ship was bad news since I received my orders, but what I heard, champagne bottle didn't even break during the christening, which means bad luck. No amount of successful missions could have convinced me otherwise. I hate being right. The crash happened a few hours ago, but the ship's going down fast. I haven't been able to unlock the door from the inside, so for now, I'm trapped. Some of the flooding compartments have been closed off to prevent the sinking of the ship. Sadly for me, it did fuck all. It just means that I'm well and trapped here. Luckily, there's enough food and water to last me a few weeks. I hope at least. In all honesty, the main reason why I'm writing this down in some scraps of paper is to keep myself calm. See, if I start to panic, I'll waste oxygen. There's no way I have enough to use all the food here and the water if I hyperventilate. Entry 2. I managed to find a flashlight and a few batteries, so at least I can see my metallic prison. There's no way the military isn't looking for me right now. Captain must have sent out a distress signal, or it happened automatically. They're on the way to save me as I'm writing this. But as the ship is sinking deeper and deeper, and the loud groaning of the metal around me isn't giving me any hope that it'll be an easy operation for them. For now, all I can do is wait. Of course. Tried banging on the walls and the doors to get some measure of attention, but I guess also panicking. Didn't hear me or something. They'll notice that I'm not there during the head count. They have to. Maybe the captain even brought a radio to the escape boat. I'll be out of here before I know it. Yeah, enough writing for now. There's so little happening, there isn't much to write about. Maybe I could write a book about this. Become famous like that guy who got his hand stuck in that cliff. Entry 3. Damn, I need to figure out how to keep track of time down here. Something's happened, but it's hard to get a frame of reference. The ship's taken on more water, and it's falling towards the bottom of the goddamn North Atlantic. I'm still trying not to panic, right? But with the water around me, it's becoming slowly darker and darker. So it's not the easiest thing in the world to manage right now. It's not pitch black out when I look through my window. It's hard to see out far. If I were to guess, I'd say that ship's about 2,500 feet deep. There's still some sunlight coming through, though, but it's not nearly enough for me to see. The ship's still creaking. My little steel room is damaged and all. Water will enter. I'll be fucked. Praying that doesn't happen. Entry 4. Must have been a day by now, right? Heard another loud crash, I'm guessing it was a few hours ago. It's hard to know just how long ago, with the sunlight completely gone from this depth. Either that or it's nighttime. The adrenaline's kept me up for so long, but with that comes the hunger. Eaten way too much of my supplies already. Although on the bright side, I managed to keep myself calm the entire time in order to preserve as much air as I can. Running a plethora of breathing exercises are actually helpful. Who knew? Absolutely no idea how long I can last with what I have, and I can't exactly try to open the door either. Can't know the situation on the other side of the door at all, so I only have the air in the room right now. I just hope the rescue mission is on their way already. It's quiet down here. Entry 8. Fuck, this is maddening. Waiting down here is so boring. You think that'd be the least of my concerns, but I feel like I've been down here for days. No changes, no sounds. I haven't begun talking to myself, just to hear something other than the creaking of what's presumably left of the hull. I must have counted inventory 100 times by now. Found some flares. Thought about using them to start a fire, but it would just waste the precious oxygen in here. Though sometimes past, I'm not feeling lightheaded, right? I keep movement to a minimum, and the cabin's completely dry. There is, however, a problem with the cold. You see, like, no sunlight coming down here to warm the water. It's definitely been a few days, at this point. So I must be below the level where the light can reach me. Cabin's become increasingly cold. Found some blankets. I'm using them to keep myself warm. I need to resort to using flares if this keeps up. And there's no point in saving oxygen if I freeze to death down here. The rescue's still coming. Right. Entry 10. Yet another problem to add to my increasingly big pile of shit. So literally, this time, where am I supposed to piss and shit? I mean, I can't go to the goddamn bathroom. I chose a random corner in my cell, which began tilting afterwards due to some fucking oceanic current or something. So the shit smear is spread nicely around the goddamn room. On top of that, the can I was using to piss in also fell right over. This place smells. It feels gross. For fuck's sake, guys, come here and fucking rescue me. I can't do close to anything at this point. Entry 13. Please, guys, please come soon. I can't stand it here anymore. One of the pipes began leaking, and it hasn't stopped. It's constant dripping now. Feels like Loki when Odin finally had enough of his shit, punished him by chaining him underneath a snake so that it could drip poison on his bitch ass. And only two differences. Firstly, I don't have a wife to catch the drops and make it stop making the noise. And two, I'm innocent, okay? I did nothing to deserve being down here. What did I do? Tell me, I'll stop. Just let me out of this watery prison. Just drip, drip, drip. I'm losing my fucking mind. It's been going on for days. I haven't been able to sleep at all because of it. It's cold. I'm miserable. There's nothing to do except write, but there's nothing to write about. Entry 15. I don't think they're coming anymore. I only have a few sets of batteries for my flashlight, so I've been using them extremely sparingly lately. I found the box. Said the flashlight should last about 55 to 60 hours on low, which is what I've been using and doing the math in my head with some pretty heavy guesswork as well. I came to the conclusion that I've been down here for nearly 2.5 weeks. Give or take a day. There's still plenty of food, there's water. I think oxygen, but what if they don't find me? What am I holding on for? I feel lonely out here. Back on the ship, I used to love staring at the night sky on deck, the stars above you, the ocean. It gives off a feeling of immense loneliness. But it's a feeling that you welcome if you're on a ship. You're always surrounded by people, constantly in communication with them. The nights on the deck were amazing. Up north here, you could see the aurora borealis in winter. Well, that was some months ago. Now though, now I miss the constant chatter. The people surrounding you are good ways of distracting you from how truly quiet the ocean actually is. I mean, sure, when you wanted to sleep back on the ship, you'd complain about the sounds of waves hitting the hull or the wind rushing outside, but compared to the people, it may as well not exist. Now I'm here. Alone. Only sounds I hear are the currents hitting my prison, but it's usually drowned out by the dripping. Goddamn dripping, it's maddening. Entry 18. Who knows where I am? I can't have drifted too far as I sank. I haven't heard too many sounds that might indicate movement. Pipes still dripping with water. The amount of dry floor space I have is shrinking day by day. Fear the hole's gonna rip at some point. Flood the entire room with that freezing water. I made a fire by lighting some wood from the crates with a flare and to keep myself somewhat warm. Doesn't do much. It's enough to make for some relative comfort. If only I could sleep. Constant dripping sounds keeping me awake most of the time. I feel like I haven't slept for days. My only fear is I run out of oxygen really soon if I keep the fire going. I'll only use it when it's too cold to bear. Entry 19. A sound. I hear a sound. It's some clicking noises that sound like the Geiger counter you hear in a Fallout game. I don't know what it was, but at least I'm not alone, right? I actually forgot what it's like to hear something aside from the dripping and the sounds that I make. It sounded far away, but the creature must have been huge. Maybe like a whale of some kind or something. But I'm not alone, right? That's the most important thing here. Couldn't possibly imagine what it's like to hear nothing but your own heartbeat and a constant dripping. What makes it worse is the feeling of being alone. So alone. In fact, that I began speaking to the dripping sound. Even giving it a fucking name. Mr. Drip. I feel like that man from Castaway, right? But at least he had light. I'm fucked. And Mr. Drip is an asshole who doesn't know when to shut up. Entry 22. Whoever said stare into the abyss will stare back. Never truly had to stare at one. See, the fear of the dark isn't actually fear of the dark, but instead fear of what's inside that darkness, right? So let me tell you, I've been staring at the darkness outside my little window for days. Trying to look for any sign of life ever since I had heard these sounds a few days ago. I don't know what to expect, but I welcome anything at this point. See, the Norse used to have stories about the Kraken. On old maps, he used to say, "Here be dragons," referring to the middle of the ocean, how they're uncharted territories. Even in the Bible, we talk about leviathans in the Old Testament, right? I'm not asking for any mythological creatures or legends, but I'd like something. For all I know, there are fishes, there's sharks, there's squids, or any other type of creature just a few feet away from my only portal into the darkness outside my cabin. And exactly due to that darkness, I can't see what in the abyss is staring back at me. I'm no longer afraid of what could be inside the darkness. I'm afraid that there's nothing. Entry 23. Dripping sound is speeding up. In addition, the metal surrounding me keeps groaning under the stress. Fear I don't have long before I run out of supplies, or I'll be crushed by the sea. I've had nothing but time here to think about what would be a worse way to go, On one hand, you have wasting away. My body's slowly losing all its strength to the point where I can't do anything anymore. So think about food, or water, or sleep. In reality, it wouldn't be that different from what I'm currently doing anyway. On the other hand, there's drowning, or dying of the pressure. I have no idea what would kill me first if there were to be a small entrance to the cold outside. At least I imagine that if it was the pressure, it'd be fast. I mean, same as dying in space, right? Except the opposite. Kind of like an implosion, maybe. Drowning, though, that would be horrible. The feeling of needing to breathe, but only getting more and more water stuck in your lungs must be painful beyond all description. Thinking about this makes me realize there truly is no way out of here. At least I'd like to get it over with quickly. Entry 27. At some point in this, one cannot help but conclude that the rescue's no longer coming. I've suffered enough for a lifetime, and if there is a hell, it can't be worse than this. I'm Samuel Rodriguez, 24 years old, from Tampa, Florida. I joined the U.S. Navy back in 2012 to pay for college. Never once did I expect to be sent to the North Atlantic, and never, and even less so, than I have that ship sink and leave me stranded at the bottom of the fucking ocean for over 4 weeks, alone. The best way to describe my predicament: the ocean makes you feel alone and helpless. We weren't meant to traverse the ocean, much less be underneath the waves. I was never afraid of the water or of the sea. When I was a boy, my father took me out to sail more times than I can count. And I was always a good swimmer, but if I make it out of this alive, I swear I'll never touch the sea again in my life. I'm done with it. The sea, the ocean, they can fuck off. You know, aside from my immediate family, I won't be missed. A few friends, sure, but nothing close. Didn't have a girl back home either. Went on a date with one, though, and before I left for the Big Blue, I didn't even like her. I just didn't want to be alone. And in hindsight, I should have listened to my mom. I should have gotten a trade job. It would have been boring, maybe, but at least I didn't have to go into debt or die at the bottom of the goddamn ocean to pay for a fucking law degree. If these notes are ever found, let my parents, Carlos and Linda Rodriguez, know that I love them, and that I am proud to be their son. I know that they did their best for me, and for that I can't be more grateful. Entry 28. Yeah, I've been thinking. It's been a few hours since my last entry, and I'm writing this by fire. I narrowed down what caused the ship crash in the first place to either a drift, ice, or sea quake. If it is the former, then it's just a huge fucking cliche. Has my life really come down to an extra in Titanic? I'm afraid so. You know. Unless I forgot to write it down, there weren't any aftershocks, so a sea quake seems unlikely. Maybe sea quakes don't have aftershocks like earthquakes do. Well, it shouldn't be that different. Hard to tell from up there. All I remember clearly was a crashing sound. Ship rocking, alarms going off. I thought about those minutes a million times the past few weeks. Storms aren't that uncommon in the North Atlantic either. Maybe it was that. It was cloudy and misty. Winds there nonstop. I can't believe I even started missing that cold that me and my mates on the ship always used to complain about. Entry 29. Food's running low. Water ran out just yesterday. I've been using the fire to try to boil the seawater and make it drinkable, but, it doesn't work. I'm thirsty. It well and truly is the end of the road for me. The air's getting thinner. The ocean makes everyone powerless. If I want to go out on my own terms, I still have that box cutter I used to open the boxes. Place these notes in a container along with my dog tags, if it's ever found, Please give them to my parents, but I'm not counting on it. I'll die useless death, miles under the sea in the pitch black darkness of the fucking ocean. I hate this place. Can't believe this is the end for me. We weren't made to be out here. At least in the forest or in the desert, you can still move, right? You can still hear. You think of some way to survive longer than this. People have been living in those places for millennia. Out here, though? Out here, they said the Vikings were the first to sail to America on relatively small ships compared to what Columbus used. I can't imagine how they did it, let alone survive one storm in those ships. say the ocean's the biggest graveyard on the planet for a reason, and I can't agree with those people more. Some scientists would kill for the opportunity to study the life around me, but for as far as I can tell, there isn't any. I should have stayed back home in Tampa. I miss my friends and my family. I miss going sailing with my dad. Dumb arguments I had with my mom. I miss how my uncle would drop by whenever he pleased just to get some coffee and then to move on with his day like usual. This isn't the type of loneliness you can just get out there in the world. It's something that I can't fully describe using my notes. No matter how you would try to simulate it up there, it won't be the same. It's not something I'd wish upon my worst enemy. Okay, this is it. My final act of defiance against all this. I may not have been in control during any of this, but I survived out here on my own means, and I'll die by them. Signed, Samuel Rodriguez. Good evening once again, kids. It's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I want to tell you thank you for watching tonight's video, or for listening to tonight's episode of the podcast. That's available on Spotify, or on Apple Music, or on any other places that you can get podcasts. I'm not entirely sure where people listen to podcasts. If you guys are watching on YouTube, though, I would really appreciate if you click the subscribe button, click that thumbs up button, and hit the bell for me, because that's what we're supposed to say now. We're required by YouTube law. As always, I want to give a big thank you to all of my supporters on Patreon. You guys are the real MVPs, and you allow us to get a whole bunch of custom stories that are only heard here on this channel, on this podcast. So, a very big thank you to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Stephanie Butler, Bobby Karman, Tristan Pelton, Chase Burnett, Diana Kraus, Maria Walker, Tonya Oran, Paingravy, Inactive Hermit, Austin Johnson, Crazy Kid, MrMarcusBlitz, Aika Limchoc, Dirt Diver 030, Matt Bach, Jabbles Raz, Voiceofsand, Coffee Zombie, Matthew McNeese, ChellyJay, Jeremy H, raltizal, PhycoMel, Nana, TheMorrigan, Nick Weaver, MeltedLake, Tali Sue, SkyMara Ravenswood, William King, Reaper 61167, Darth Miver, Micah Ortiz, Satanic Aries, Nessie, Parafa Panda, Bardo Hawk 764, Lambda M98, Harley, Billy Morrow, Sashi Suzaku, My Body Sounds Like Rice Krispies, Miss Xander, Suji Campbell, Stricken, Azarine Fox, Freddy Krueger, Happy Birthday Jason Wilson, Lisa Cottrell, Caspian, Hades' Nephew, Tater Chip, Acid System, Prozac and Pancake Appreciation Society, Cryptic Nightmares, Kiri the Sloth, Tommy Green, Fester's Lampshade, Sky Harbor, Nico Kyle, Rafael Rodriguez, The Ginger Bros, Aaron Stormcrow, Daniel Polson, Trey Smiles, and Corey Kenshin. And of course, everybody who's down there in the description as well, and everybody who can support on patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta for even $1, I appreciate it greatly, and I'm sure that all the authors that we were able to work with appreciate it too. So, thank you guys so much, thank you for listening, and sweet dreams.